What is going on, everybody? Hello, UPA type fans. My name is clutchsometimes. Doing some power rankings here. Today I'm joined by Swiss and Frozen. You guys want to say hi?
What up?
Hello.
So yes, we're just doing some quick power rankings. Quick shout out to my good friend Paluki, who made me these graphics. Great guy. I'll leave his link to the channel below. He doesn't really upload that much, but makes really nice graphics. So we're gonna just jump right on into it. So moving into the Division 2 power rankings here. We're going to start at the bottom with the San Diego Shinxes, coached by their coach Wobbuffet. And it's kind of an odd team, honestly.
Yeah, it's like a attempt at executing a Webs team, but got a weird combination of mons, I guess, with Clefable, Cresselia, Beedrill, not making too much sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest problem with his team is that it's a pretty big rock sweep team, and like hazards in general, I guess, with not so great removal. Like your best removal is Donphan, and that's like not stellar removal. And
Yeah, it's
that's
not.
my biggest issue.
It's pretty
I
bad.
do like the fact that he did get a rapid spinner though to support having Webs up instead of just having a defogger, which would obviously be problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wish he got a better spinner. Is all.
Yeah, it's just disjointed. Honestly.
Yeah, it just doesn't really work synergy wise.
Clef
you're
is
really
just,
only.
Clef was just kind of there, but I know he dropped
Yeah.
Clef as well.
Yeah, for Hooper.
Yeah, but then you get rid of your fairy, so you like take on even more problems. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, not having a fairy type's just not something you want to go without, honestly.
There's
Yeah.
a couple of other typing issues with Bishop being the only steel. It's not a great defensive steel type.
And
I think it's the only flying resist as well, which
your poison type
problematic.
isn't. Your poison type being
Yeah.
Beedrill isn't much of a fair resist either. So strong fairies are kind of really solid against this team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
can
think-
be relying on Crest like a lot.
Yeah.
Crest
His defense.
Crest
It's gonna be
Crest
very
struggles
precious.
to be. Just Crest struggles to be more against like more aggressive threats. Just doesn't take hits against like some big breakers very well.
Yeah,
I-
it's just... Go ahead, Swiss.
I was gonna say I think the team would have appreciated like, a bit more. I don't know, mons in character with the design of the team, like the Beedrill. I don't really see what Volturn brings to a Webs abusing team. Something like a Mega Pinsir, which SDs and abuses Webs. I think that would have fit the team a bit better, I guess.
Yeah. There's just that Pyukumuku there that just doesn't make any sense at all, honestly. Pyukumuku just gets shut off by Taunt.
It could be a pivot, I guess, with Baton Pass, but yeah, Taunt is always an issue.
It just
Also a big issue against this team.
it auto loses. Pyukumuku just auto loses to Taunt.
Yeah. Anyways,
Moving on to our number 13 spot, which would be the Pittsburgh Steelix, coached by their coach LC Plays. Personally, to me it's just kind of a strange team. Haxo just doesn't. To me, Haxo just doesn't break very well on this team. With terrain limiting its way to break through steals, which Magneton I guess helps, but they got two good spinners, but doesn't have any spike support outside of Lately, which isn't the best spiker in my opinion. And he does have, I guess he has a Fortress.
yeah, my biggest issue is that Fortress really is his only good hazard setter. 'Cause he has a really good hazard setter in Fortress and a really good spinner in Starmie, and then he just kind of said, "F it, let's just draft some more mons," and like didn't really bother to like support those in case they have a bad matchup.
I think he made a really good trade effective week 2, which is Rhydon for Togetic. Because he already had a Fairy and Bulu, and that's going to give him another rocker, a ground type, a rock type. I think it makes a lot more sense for his team, so I think that will help out in the long term.
Yeah, the extra flying resist on this team is not appreciated because Magneton isn't really much of a flying resist. It's just so frail.
Yeah. I mean,
I think-
my issue with getting rid of Togetic though is that Tababulu isn't really like a fairy. Like, yeah, it's a dragon immunity. Like, yeah, but it doesn't really do the job that Fairy should. It really just wants to click Woodhammer. That's it.
There's not really very many options to bring in Bulu as well. It's kind of just Mag.
Yeah.
I think the Fire Water Grass is quite good. Obviously, Incineroar benefits from the grassy terrain, and then Starmie and Incineroar working well together as well with the Rapid Spin for rocks. But it's not like anything crazy.
Yeah, it's the nice core, but that's like about it for this team.
And I just don't like Haxo. Not to. I know I just said this, but Haxorus just struggles a little bit to me on this kind of team.
Yeah, I'd say in combination with Hawlucha, they could be threatening because one can break and the other can sweep. So that's always something to bear in mind.
That's true.
Should I move on?
Yeah, I think we should move on then. Our next one, our average rankings would be Bethums and the Northwest Nidorinas. I think this team's just a couple of. I think this team's just a couple of pieces away from being a really solid team. Those pieces being removal pieces mainly.
Yeah, definitely removal. Support Volcarona better.
Because Volk just doesn't have much. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it has a very promising start, but the lack of removal really kills this team for a team that doesn't really love hazards. Like you've got 3 weaknesses and all of them are your removal. Like that's bad.
Yeah, defog Volcarona is just not what you feel. You feel like you should be running most weeks, if ever.
Yeah, probably not.
But like pieces like Pex and Reuniclus are really solid, and Steelix is a really solid rocker, especially at a tier 5.
That regen core is quite tough to break.
Yeah.
And I think there's some few Pursuit Trappers in Honchkrow. I think Druddigon gets Pursuit, and I think what was it, one other Aero that can all support Megalopony decently.
Yeah, I like Honchkrow here. But like another thing, like you can't really run defog Honchkrow like as often as you'd like because you really want to just be running Scarf Moxie.
Yeah, or just like Life Orb, like.
Yeah, something like that. You don't really.
You want to be like Contro, click attack, to be able to click attacks instead of take them.
Yeah.
Because a passive Honchkrow just isn't that great of a Honchkrow.
Probably the last thing I'd mention is the parts of the Firewater Grass core is that the grass and the water are both poison types, which obviously means they can't support each other as well. So maybe if you picked up a mon like Delmise, which is a spinner, which doesn't have that overlapping weakness with Toxapex, and it gives you actually a ground resist, I think that could definitely support this team.
Yeah, the extra spinner would be very nice on this team, for sure.
Yeah, if she got Delmise, I think this team could really wreck some people.
Just Volcarona, I think Volcarona Mimic is just like a back end. It's just really solid.
Yeah.
It's a scary mon if it's not prepped for properly.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, super scary. Especially with Z moves.
Yep, both of those just with Z moves are fantastic Pokemon. So I think we just move on.
I'm down.
Okay. Moving on from there, we have the Alexandria Absols, who Swiss has fairly high at 9. Me and Frozen both have an 11.
Yeah, I guess I did really like parts of this team. Like I really like Megavino supporting Zeraora.
Mhm.
Sorry, I that one, wasn't I? Navina is also being supported by Azelf and Drapion for Psychics.
Yep.
And there's some good speed tiers in here.
Mhm.
But I'm sure you guys will go on to say that there is some quite obvious flaws of the team as well.
It's incredibly weak to rocks.
Unbelievably weak to rocks and hazards in general, like spikes included.
It's a lot of pressure on like Fini and Cryogonal to be defoggers, and Fini is a great defogger, but Fini also kind of limits portions of this team, especially like Dragonite and Mega Venusaur.
Yeah, I think the team relies a decent amount on Cobalion and Vina to take knockoffs as well, because if Fini gets knocked, it's pretty much like
He's losing his
gone after
leftovers.
bulky water, and it is his only bulky water. So like he's limited to no recovery, and it's not even like Fini can rest.
Mhm.
So it's extremely limited when it comes to recovery.
Actually, it doesn't even learn rest, which is kind of interesting.
Well, it can't anyway.
Yeah,
It's
it's just a point. I thought I was something kind of interesting. Anyway, but yeah, the team breaks really well for Zerora, I think. Just like,
yeah.
but
I just wish he didn't have like Fini D-Knight. Like, there's got to be
Yeah.
a different dragon in tier 1 that you can pair with. Like, I think Fini Chomp is a little bit better.
yeah, Chomp is available as well, which is nice.
But like D-Knight just ain't really it on this
D-Knight
team.
wants that dragon stab.
Would also give
Yeah.
the team a ground type, which it doesn't have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, he has an electric immunity in Zerora, but
And Venu's pretty bulky.
yeah, but you still
Yeah.
they still can gain momentum off of Venusaur, which
I was gonna
is
say Vino loses to momentum, so
And also Zero or the only flying resist on the team, I believe.
yeah.
Which
And Zerora is fairly frail when it comes right down
yeah,
to it.
you don't want it to be like taking a supersonic sky strike.
Or like or like just banded Brave Bird from some flying type like.
Yeah.
And I don't know what a Cricketune is, but there is one on this team.
It's it's got a great cry. That's about it.
It does. It has a great cry. It's got a sick stash too. That's about it. I think it can Stealth Stinger.
It does, but it's also like slow.
You know, Trick Room Stealth Stinger. Like 2 kills.
Get the Trick Room off from Chandelier into Cricketune for the Felstinger boost.
I would definitely recommend, at the very least, is one of these fire types should probably be dropped for something that adds a bit more to the team, because I think Magmortar and Chandelure just overlap too much.
Mm-hmm. They're both really strong
Yeah.
special breakers that.
Yeah, they're exact copies. It
Mhm.
doesn't really
Except Chandelier's better, so.
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah. All right.
Yeah, moving on.
Next up,
Is the Memphis Magmars, coached by Midnight.
You sure?
I think so. Unless I missed something. Oh no,
think you did.
I did miss something. I missed the Malval Missy Nose, coached by their coach, Commander H. So, straight offense, essentially, from this team. And
If I
Camel.
can start, I mean, it's really good hyper offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not gonna lie, you've got all the pieces. You've got multiple hazards. You've got webs. You've got T-spikes, spikes. You've got you know, acceptable momentum,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got offensive type synergy.
Yep.
You've got Trick Room. You've got webs deterrent of your own. The problem is that I just don't think pure hyper offense as like a drafted team, I don't think it's a very good like concept in general.
It's inconsistent, for sure, I think, at most.
Yeah.
no, I think the fact that this team has access to all hazards is pretty great, and like you've already mentioned, it has access to pretty much every type of speed control you can possibly imagine, which gives this team a lot of versatility,
Mm-hmm.
and could mean that it breaks opponents well.
Yeah.
But defensively, I think something like Necrozma might be quite pressured, because it's the only kind of bulky mod with like reliable recovery.
Yeah. The lack of spinner is also something to note. So he can't like his own form of hazard control is kind of limited.
Yeah, it's true. It
Yeah.
seems like a just go for the stack, and whatever your opponent puts on your side of the field, you'll just put up with it, I guess.
I mean, and I guess he has the ability to pressure his opponent to defog as well, for him, because they have to, if they want to get rid of his hazards, they have to defog. And Serp is
That's
also
great for superior.
here. Serp is just great defog deterrent in general.
Yeah. He also does have a spin blocker, which is kind of disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
So like if an opponent does have like a really good spinner, like let's say a Starmie that can come in on some like Clef Key, then
Yeah.
he will be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like basically the team.
It's a strong offensive team, but
Yeah.
it's very much just an offensive team.
It looks good fun to use, but tricky.
I like the color scheme.
Does look very nice color-wise.
I'm
Yeah,
hoping
red
to
and
see plenty of kills from good old Mega Camera.
If it doesn't get 12 kills, Commander H gets banned.
Oof.
Oof.
What have we got next?
Now it's gonna be Midnight. Nah, the Memphis Magmars. Manaphy in Zardex is utterly terrifying, but after that it really falls off.
Yeah. I think his like top few picks are good, but then like he really fails to round out the team adequately.
Yeah.
Like Walrein's a shit mon.
Walrein is not good.
It's a useless mon. Like it doesn't do anything.
Zone doesn't do much for this team trapping steals when you can just head up on them with Zardex.
Yeah.
I mean, Zone plus Lando is decent versus electric types. I like that. If they're running HPIs, they can't be running HP ground.
Yeah.
That's useful, but
Zone's also the only fairy resist on the team, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So it's a ton of pressure on like strong fairies.
Yeah,
To
I
check
think
strong
the
fairies.
speed tiers could be better. You've got Espeon at like 110. Nothing crazy. It's the only draft without a dark type. Doesn't support Espeon in that respect. And I see a lot of Trick Room, but no real Trick Room abusers, unless you're calling Porygon itself a Trick Room abuser.
Yeah, DNC can like finish off teams in Trick Room, but it's not necessarily like a pure abuser.
I don't even think it's an abuser under Trick Room because I don't know. It's a wacky mon that like, and its coverage is a little bit limited. I mean, it has Bolt Beam, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But you do struggle to hit steals with Porygon.
Which
So.
but I guess like with Porygon, I think Porygon plus like Zard is kind of nice. Just like you struggle to hit steal with Porygon, and then like you go back into your big scary Charizard.
Yeah. A little bit limited in forms of hazards. Like he's got 2 rockers, which
He has a Spiker and Chestnut as well.
It does have a Spiker, yeah.
yeah, but no spinner, so
True.
spikes aren't as useful.
And his defogging is kind of limited on like Florges and
Florges,
Sando, but and that's
Magic
just
bounce.
he does have Magic Bounce, but Espeon's not that great of a Magic Bouncer to me. Just like it's so frail. The most rockers can just like Earthquake it on the way in and set rocks after.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Moving on, we get to go to the next page now. So now we are to the 8 through 4 portion here. So we're just gonna start with here with Wendy and the Kyogres.
Kaiser Slaughtern.
I think that's how you pronounce it, but I'm not gonna.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just go with that.
So
Shall I start?
sure, Swiss.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the Fairy Dragon Steel on this team is godly. Like Guard, Silly, Zygarde, that's something you dream of. But at the same time, it's the speed tiers on this team that see it somewhat lacking. What is the highest? I think it's
Miss Magius at 105.
Magius. Yeah. I love this team and hate it at the same time.
There's no
it has
Stealth Rocks.
So much potential. There's no Rocker, but then I love Muck with God of War, and I love for Alligator with Zygarde with Pressure, Grass, and Waters together. Like, it's just. We were talking earlier and saying how ones like Piloswine, then I looked at Lyca and Dusk is available, Selgor. Just give this team some hazards, those speed hitters, and this team can be very, very, very threatening.
I think you get Rocks on this team. It's probably one of the best drafts in the league. Division 2.
It's really just a lacking team. It lacks so many essential things in the league format, but at the same time, you have like one of the best Fairy Dragon Steel cores I've ever seen. It might even be the best.
I think that's probably the best I've ever seen.
Like if he just had better speed tiers or more speed control, then like he could basically just like win the league in prep. But it's just,
It's lacking.
yeah.
So
I
it's
think
so
we
it's so
mentioned this,
close.
Like there's 2 spinners as well, which I mean we tell other people to be getting spinners, but I don't think 2 is necessary. Like something like that hit on top for a pilot swipe, give it the rocks. Yeah, just it's so
Especially when
close so far.
Even when you don't even have hazards, like you really don't even need like spin over defog.
Yeah.
You know, like at that point, defog's a better move because at least like your stone edges will hit more. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just remove. Just get some hazards, and then just like start running. Just get bandits like guard in with like rocks up and start hurting things.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So I think moving on, we go to the Kajan. I ain't gonna butcher this. This is a Sealy. The Septiles. the Septiles.
This is the mascot.
Mascot's nice. I have this at 6. Frozen has it at 8. Swiss has it at 7. It's very much just a pretty solidly one of the more mid tier drafts. It's a strong. I think it's a strong. To tack on a Swiss statement, it's a strong Firewater Grass, Mega Septile, and Heat Trend and Melodic. To me, Weave Out doesn't really trap much on this team. Trap 4 much on this team.
Yeah, I mean it might trap stuff for Mian Shao.
True.
And let it spam high jump kick.
Mhm.
But typically you see it with psychic type that really appreciates it. And I wouldn't really put Behem as that psychic type. I would plead that if he wants a psychic type, I'd go with something like Mishana, which is much more reliable psychic. I mean, prove me wrong by all means, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, other than like just a few miscues, I think this team is pretty solid.
Mhm.
Like he's got the speed tiers really well. I think Jolteon's a fucking horrible mod, but like the speed tiers are there.
I think just regular Muck's kind of trash as well. It's like he saw he needed a ground of poison and just like picked up Muck because it's a ground of poison.
Yeah.
Maybe it was petrified of Bulu and just picked up Yonto.
Yeah. Yeah, this team is like pretty basic. It's kind of a Gen 6 team, but like aside from Shit Volley, it's a Gen 6 team. But I think it's pretty fine.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
solid
I
team
think-
just in general.
I can see Septile putting in a lot of work with this team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
It appreciates.
Go.
It comes in pretty well on grounds for this team, especially around like Heat Trend and Rhyperior and.
Yeah, Milotic's a great ground switch in, as long as it's not like a banded EQ.
Yep. Melodic's just bulky. Honestly.
Yeah, it's a great mod. Also pretty fast.
It's
81
base
speed.
81 is really it's faster than you might think it is on it. It's faster than a lot of people think it is. It's kind of wild.
It's as fast as a Gyarados.
It's true. I think Gyarados and it have like some like weird stat flip or something like that. But yeah. Moving on to the Burlington Bulbasaurs, and coached by Luke. It's a strong draft. Great solid Volturn for Kyurem and Diancie. Decent rocker for decent rocker and Crocodile. Diancie can set rocks. Kind of has limited rocking options, but
It's a very strong team for sure.
Mhm.
Like, it's very possible that like you can just break half your opponent's team in the first 5 turns.
Yep.
With this.
because like, just Kyurem Black is probably one of the best breakers in the format, if not the best breaker in the format.
Yeah, he's also got the Rotom, which is really good defog for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He's got a couple
Obviously.
of great Skull Switch, one of the better Skull Switch-ins as well in Volcanion.
Mhm.
I think it's that classic DFS core that you'll see time and time again with Diancie, Sizzle, and Kyurem.
Mhm.
That's pretty threatening. What my main note I had was for this team before week 1 match happened, and spoilers if you didn't see it, I had it as prone to being swept because there's not enough defensive solid options. And what you know happens in the first week? Gets swept by a Shell Smash Sweeper. So that would be my really only criticism of this team is
Yep,
that
yep.
there isn't that natural defense to take on opposing setup.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure on
I mean,
like
your bulkiest mon is like licky.
it's a lot of pressure on Weezing to take fighting hits for this team as well. Which Weezing can take most fighting
Yeah.
hits, but it doesn't have any form of reliable recovery, and it's like licky to Weezing as a wish pass is kind of strange.
Yeah, I think the problem for this team is that it's given those roles to these low tier picks, and so when these mons are being brought, then those weaknesses are going to be exhibited.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to bring your bulk, you gotta like sacrifice your high tier stuff, which is like really a shame because this high tier stuff is phenomenal.
It's absolutely amazing. I think to me, it's just like this team doesn't have the strongest. It's really reliant on those low tiers to be fighting resistance and around like a Kieran Black and a like kind of Kieran Black and things that like don't necessarily resist fighting in Scizor and Diancie. It's a lot of pressure.
I'll be honest, I'm probably not a fan of Volcanion. I know it works with the Volturn, but already have enough mons to support breaking like grass types, for example.
Yeah, especially Kieran.
And I think it doesn't really work as a bulky water. It just gets toxic and whittled down. So yeah, that's just probably something I'd change personally. But everyone
And also,
has their own thing.
it also really struggles like against bulky waters if they have toxic, unless it's like a sub lefty set.
Yeah.
Because outside of Z Solar Beam, it really can't touch them.
It's kind of it's only way to really break waters is like with toxic. So like a flame or melodic kind of beats it most times 1-on-1.
Yeah.
All right, so our number 5 team is going to move to number 5 now to be the Campen Keldeos, coached by Pataki.
Gen 6 draft league.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Gen 6 plus Buzzball. Like,
Yeah. Like, if this is a Gen 6 team, if this was drafted, like obviously minus Buzzwole in Gen 6 draft, I think it's the number 1 team by far. You know, you've got all the pieces for momentum. You've got bulk, and you've got, you know, adequate hazards.
Yep.
You've got type synergy. It's all there. It's just you don't really have a ton of Z abusers outside of like Victini and maybe Hydra.
maybe Buzzball in the right spot as well.
Yeah. I think Buzzwole's just there to like switch into ground types.
It's a solid grounders this on this team.
Needed.
Even with Tang, it takes the pressure. Helps take the pressure off Tang growth for sure.
Actually, I think it was more fighting types when looking. Then you got Crobat as well.
Yeah, I mean it's just sort of a. I mean the team is good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's really weird looking at it, but I do. When I looked like more into it, I'd actually quite liked the synergy.
Yep.
There's several stealth rockers. There's lots of monster pressure grass types and ground types for Mega Manectric, even though I really don't rate Mega Manectric in League. He's built quite well around it, I'd say. There's really good wall breakers, and that's never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Manectric is really a nice spot on this team just to like bring in all these threats.
It's a good Volturn. Got Hydra, Crobat, Victini.
Yeah.
It's a good
It's
team.
a good team.
I would only say that, as tends to be the case when people draft Empoleon, it's the only water and the only steel, and they're 2 really important roles. So I think that mon's going to be really pressured in this team.
Yeah.
It's well supported, don't get me wrong, well supported. You've got Tangrowth and plenty of others, but
He has other things to take like defog pressure off it, which is nice as well. So it's not as like his soul like defogger or rocker.
yeah, no, he's done a good job with that.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
so
team.
Yeah, I agree.
all right, so we're gonna move on to our top. I'm gonna move into the top 4 here. At the Kansas City Crocodiles, Swiss is the only person to have this at 4. I think Frozen and I have it higher, but
I had it at 2, I think.
yeah, I think I have it
No,
at
no,
thir-
actually,
I have it at 3. I think, but Kansas City Crocodiles coached by Maxos, number 2 overall Megagira, paying off, I guess.
Yeah, it's a really solid team.
Yep. I personally hate Chansey on this team, but
You could drop it for Blissey.
I'm not sure I like that better, but
I mean, I like Blissey overall more, so I don't mind it.
yeah, but I just don't like it. Just that feeling to me, it's like when your other key defensive core piece is like Ferrothorn. I just don't like that much. Because he covers it with a couple other things, but
I'd say it obviously fits well with Kovac, like
Lottie.
that just really difficult to break.
Yes.
And that's a core that I used last season.
Knockoff.
True. I mean,
But he does have like
particularly knockoff week.
he does make
not
Gyarados
really.
to set up on like knockoff.
Yeah, he also has Infernape, which could be really threatening.
Yeah, especially
Like,
Z
if they
Z move
can
in
knock
for
off.
Ape is just fantastic.
Yeah.
I think the webs option for Infernape and Gyarados and Lottie are really nice. He has strong rockers. He's a good spinner, and not necessarily a good spinner. He has a spinner in Sandslash.
Like the shit spinner.
It is a Pokemon that can spin.
He also has Defiant for opponent's defaults
Can
for all
break
these
it.
hazards because he does have a lot of hazards.
Yeah, that is nice.
It's a really solid draft, I think. Probably, definitely one of the better
Yeah.
ones.
I think the reasons why I had it lower than you guys, I felt the team would have appreciated a more defensive fairy. I guess that doesn't necessarily make sense when you've got the Chansey or Blissey, whatever, which is going to be your cleric anyway. So I suppose that makes sense. Obviously, the Sandslash thing. If you want a hazard stack, a better spinner was necessary.
Yeah.
When Latios is basically going to be what's pressured as your default for what is more of an offensive mon.
Yeah, that is kind of his only removal, isn't it? It's kind of just Lottie and Braviary.
Yeah.
Oh, true. There's the Braviary.
The Braviary doesn't really want to run deep.
No.
I mean, it can though.
It's honestly pretty bulky, but
Yeah, it's got decent bulk for an offensive mon, but it's not. I wouldn't call it a bulky mon.
no, not by any stretch of the word.
Yeah, I think this is a really threatening team. I love Ferrothorn. I think.
Yeah, I mean the Firewater
Makes
Grass is
this team.
terrific.
Yeah, strong flying type's gonna give this team a little bit of an issue, but because like
Maybe
let's
it's
get stuff
special,
flying resist.
but physical, you've got Farah every day of the week.
True.
Even so, you have Heliolisk, which is like a really solid tier 3 in my opinion.
Let's get a solid one.
Yeah, I prefer it to Jolteon.
Yeah,
Really
even without the
easily.
speed tier, it's just better with Z moves and all that jazz.
Yeah, coverage, actual coverage. You know,
Not just Shadow Ball.
yeah, it's not just Shadow Ball and Signal Beam. You know, it has Stab Hyper Voice, take grounds.
Yep.
It's not a shit mon. So,
It can be a threatening in lots of matches, to be fair.
Yep. All right, so and move on to the top 3 here. So, our like if you average out our rankings, our third rank is the Canton Crocodiles, coached by Rich. Strong momentum draft right there, honestly.
it's a terrific draft. My only problems with this team are really just the fact that like Typhlosion and Omastar aren't good mons, even in their tier. Like,
They're solid fire resist for the team, at least. Takes the pressure off like Rotom Wash.
yeah, but they're not like fire resist, especially not Omastar. I mean,
That's a quad
it's just,
resist,
like,
technically.
it's a quad resist, but it's also got like a quad weakness to,
To
one of the
grass.
most common hidden power types, 4
Mhm.
fire types. So,
Yeah.
it is
No,
Rotom
I-
Wash though.
This is a great team. Like the Lando, Grotom, Torn, Heracross, all of that together is just fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I love Sylveon as a cleric and wish support, especially for Bronzong, which when you're trying to chip down bulky steals and then you've got a mon like Sylveon to wish it back up.
Yep.
I would hate to face this team, to be honest. It has lots of defog options, so Torn's not pressured to do it when you've got Decidueye and Lando and Rotom. It just works really well. And I completely agree. It's just those last couple of months that don't feel to offer too much. And it would be the case that it obviously sweeps in week 1 on a star, but I still stand by it not offering as much as something else.
Yeah. I will just say, like, parting shot into a Heracross is gonna give someone nightmares.
Heracross is honestly just such a ridiculous breaker. It's like Rotomach volt switches in the Heracross, like, and parting shots in the Heracross are just terrifying.
Yeah.
One thing I'd ask for this team is I really like having 2 ground types to take pressure, especially when Lando has a 4 times weakness. I love seeing another ground type that's not weak to ice and just making life harder for electrics. That's just one point I'll make. No, I don't think so. He's got resist in Decidueye, but just killing momentum, I think, is important. Just making life difficult for your opponent.
This team definitely needs to keep up that momentum as well. Just to want to be like, they can be able to keep momentum into like things like into the breakers, like Mega Heracross and tornado, like tornadoes and everything, to keep like pressure up. Because the team's, if something gets in on this team, it's kind of almost picking one.
Yeah, very, very solid team.
Yeah, really like it.
Yep. So number two is going to be the Jacksonville Jolteons, coached by Kyle. I think Frozen had this at 5, but me and Swiss both have it at 2.
Which is kind of strange considering I helped a lot drafting this team, and it's also very similar to a team that I drafted once. And I love this team, but I think the biggest problem with drafting a team like this is that it is very, even if you draft like other options, you are going to want to win with Sandrush like every single week, just because it's the best option. I think that's my biggest issue, is that it's a little one-dimensional.
Yeah, it's incredibly reliant on its high tiers. It's got a good spiking option, and it's got a good spikes option. It's got double pursuit for Lele. Doesn't have a spinner. Does not have a spinner. Wait, it has drill. My mistake.
Drill's
one of the better
spinners
as well.
Options.
Yep, Flygon, Photon Heat.
But those are pretty good defoggers because they both levitate, so they don't have to take spikes.
Yep.
Or webs.
Strong options. The double psychic approach with like Lele and Slowbro is very nice, just to take that pressure off of Lele being a fighting
Slowbro is
resist.
a brilliant pivot on this team. Really, really helps out. I think the Firewall to Grass in general works really well. Roserade providing such a solid answer to grass types, which can be annoying for drill. Spamming Earthquake, like Choice Scarf. I don't know, it's really good. The bits that I don't like, you've got Psychic Terrain, and then Absol's quite reliant on Sucker Punch at times.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. Outside of Sand, the speed tiers are pretty congested. Blink Absol is 115, so that's not terrible. But there's a lot around that high 80s, 90s area.
But it doesn't. You can't run a scarf on an Absol, which kind of on a Mega Absol. But this team is somewhat easy to catch up. You can catch up to this team outside of Sand. Because strong base 100 scarfers, something that this team doesn't really necessarily deal with.
And I'd only also say is that, as tends to be the case when people draft Excadrill, I've done it myself, is that it's not the ideal defensive steel type you'll have in your team. You're not going to be switching it in as much as you would otherwise, and so that's a small point to know as well.
I mean, I think he has really solid parry resist though. Like,
yeah. Roserade is a solid parry resist.
So is Rotom really.
I think the thing with Roserade is that you can't really use Synthesis if you want to keep it healthy, because especially in Sand, because that's just 25% instead of 50.
That's a fair point.
All right. Really good team.
It's very scary.
It's Lele. It's a Lele with good pursuit trapping, and it's terrifying. And I think number 1 was entirely unanimous. It's Rex. Happy Rex Appreciation Day.
Is this going up on Rex Appreciation Day?
I will be going up on Rex Appreciation Day.
To break the fourth wall. All right.
It's Coco
it's by far the best team.
It's Coco with strong Volt turn options with Shaman and Greninja, Darm to scare out grasses. And Latias fills his speed tier, and it's a strong dragon to put with this team.
Even like Alolan Golem,
Alolan.
even though I think it's like a bad mon, it's supported here super well that I think it actually like does work. like especially with trapping skills for things like Scizor and Lottie. So
That, yeah,
Yeah, there's
I haven't thought
really
about that. That's really interesting.
There's not much not to like about this team.
Yeah,
I'll be quite honest. The Volta, the speeds, both cores, the hazards and the removal, the complementary ground types, something I was talking about earlier.
double waters with Greninja and Gastro is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Having a defensive water is important. The only things I'd say, the fairy type isn't defensive.
Yeah, Coco's definitely more of an
Not the
offensive
end of the
pivot.
world, really.
yeah, I mean,
and-
you don't really need it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're choosing between Coco and a defensive fairy type, I'm pretty sure
The answer
I know
should be
what it'll
Coco.
pick.
Yeah,
And I think the only thing I also mentioned was no spin blocker for its hazard stack, or no defog abuser. Again, it's more of a minor note when this team is just super scary and
yeah. I was gonna say
pretty
when
much
it
as
hits
close
10
as you
on
can
every
get
other
to it.
aspect.
It's near perfect.
It is a fantastic
is.
draft.
I hope
Honestly.
Rex doesn't screw this up by going like 4-9.
Oh, please, Rex. We're-
Just this one time, please.
Just don't throw. You'll be fine. All right, so that's gonna do it for our Division 2. So we're just gonna go. We're gonna go now. We're now gonna go blue here. We're gonna go to Division 1. So starting at the bottom for most of us, for me and Frozen at least, is California. Yeah, it's gonna be the California Kyogre is coached by Rish. So it's, to me, it's strong. It's got strong breakers, but it doesn't have any rock. Its rock options are limited. Its speed tiers are really clustered as well.
Yeah. One thing I will just want to say as a disclaimer is that like so many of these teams are really good.
Oh my gosh.
Like
Yeah.
even Rift,
These-
I think still has a good team.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like really hard to rank these teams.
Because like, I think
it's a lot of nitpicking.
because like even with like yes, Manaphy, Medi, and Lele, Medi is in Psychic Terrain, so those Zen headbutts just hurt even more than they should already off that pure power.
Yeah. It's not a fun.
Definitely not a fun
core
team to
deal.
switch into. But
Although I think
It's-
my biggest issue is that he doesn't have a lot to deal with darts, like outside of
it's
Excelgor.
Umbreon, but it's Umbreon switches in, but doesn't necessarily beat Darks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not doing any damage, and like Excelgor only really comes in like a couple times.
Yeah. Especially if you get rocks up on this team, which is because its removal options are fairly limited and
I think he did get sniped on whatever dark type or dark types he was looking at, so
Mhm.
I think that is something to note. I believe he was looking at Pursuit Trappers, so I do agree on that front. I do like
Yeah.
how Swallow baits in like rocks, stills with U-turn, and then goes straight into Mega Med chat. But yeah, bulky psychics. The only thing I'd say is that at least Lele and Medi do both pressure bulky psychics in that respect. When they've got recovery though, yeah, it's tricky.
it's incredibly tricky. I feel like after using Lele last season, things I would have liked to have is just better rockers and a strong Pursuit Trapper. Which like Reggie's a really solid rocker, especially at a tier 4. It's really good value, but it doesn't keep.
I don't like Reggie.
I think Reggie's solid, but the team doesn't have much momentum, and I feel like the momentum would be nice with like Lele and Medi. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
it just lacks that to me.
I
I
feel
mean,
like
he does
those.
have the Compass Umbreon, which is pretty nice. Considering, like,
Mhm.
you definitely do want to go into your like
Your
hard
s-
hitter on Umbreon to try to just get it out of the way because it's so annoying. So I think he could use that pretty well.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, I think it would have appreciated like slow U-turners and slow
Mhm.
parting shotters, stuff like that that help bring in those big hitters, break teams.
yeah, and it's certainly not helped out by Sandslash.
no, it's not. Moving on to the next team on the list, the 13th ranked team for by average is the Anaheim Mighty Ducklets, coached by Jank.
This was tough. I mean, the fact that this team is this low when it has quite good synergy in every respect.
Mhm.
crazy breakers.
Like,
Gardevoir and
yeah,
UPA. I think that again goes a lot to say about the other drafts we'll talk about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Volturn is there. It's nothing crazy.
Removal
to get in those
options.
big hitters.
The removal options just to me are just what keeps this draft down for me. It's like Blaziken and Arrow.
Like Blaziken removes.
Yeah, I think it gets defog.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna check real
I
fast.
thought it was just Arrow.
Since
It does get defog.
it's like
Oh, wow.
really.
Yep.
I guess they gave it to it in
Gen 7.
Sun Ultramoon.
I did not know that.
But it's still not a good removal. It's still not good removal.
Yeah.
Especially if this team is so reliant on webs. And it
Mhm.
also has all the hazards to play with Pharaoh.
Yep.
Like, spin would have really been appreciated.
It does have access to all the hazards, which is nice to
Yes.
have.
It also, I think another problem for this team is that it has Jolteon, which is like one of the worst mons in the format. So, you know. I mean, like, yeah, if you don't believe me, just look at its move pool and like, look at its stats. It's just so bad. It's not a good Pokemon.
I do quite like Ambipom with Gardevoir, because not only have you got the U-turn, but if Gardevoir is breaking still somewhat, and then you've got that normal stab to come through at the end, I think they work together. And
And
also, the
There's a
Ambipom
Zygarde 50.
knockoff.
There's Zygarde 50 that you can just U-turn into as well. To
Yeah,
punish
and Hoover,
steals.
so it's not terrible. It's just I don't think it's quite came off as he wanted it to when he first had that core.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely wanted, like, just different roles to be filled, and, like, you know, any different electric would work.
There's still Helios. I think he was really going for those speed tiers, but then he got Aero anyway, so.
Yeah. Like, fuck Jolteon.
Okay, moving past Jolteon.
Anyway,
The next team by like order of or by order of average would be the Stinky Psylux, coached by Gassy. I think this team's. I kind of like some of the pieces on this team. I think Thundy and Victini and Scizor are really nice.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Especially if you put those three on webs with Como as well, it's really strong.
Yeah. I think, it's a similar issue to, Rich, where he just kind of, like, has really bad mons that he's, like, never really gonna find a use for. I guess Audino can, like, wish.
But it's not really like appreciated on this kind of team to me.
Yeah, and like Rampardos like isn't a Pokemon.
It's an Rampardos like the epitome of an unmon, honestly, even on webs.
Yeah. It's not like
Yeah,
a Pokemon.
I think again, at least he has a spinner to support those webs.
Even if Medi like absolutely despises the Pokemon that is Donphin, it's still a decent spinner in this respect.
Yeah, it can spin at least.
Mhm.
And I think the team itself, you've got a defiant Thundy and you've got a competitive Milotic.
Yep.
And that's great to have. I think it works. There's a clear lack of defense really outside of Milotic. It's going to be really pressured.
I like the ability of Victini just to be able to U-turn and get in enforcing like strong rock types for Como to come in and set up on.
I would have liked to see, like, again, slower U-turners, something slower momentum.
Yeah.
So even, like, Ordino, do I sound crazy, or something like a Type Null, Tier 5, something just bulky, that's going to take a hit, parting shot out, and go into one of your
And no one can
threats.
get parting shot.
Does it not?
It only gets U-turn, I
No,
believe.
it's horrible. It gets U-turn.
What? I thought it was like the
Yeah,
same
parting
thing as
shot.
Silvally, just...
No, it
worse.
has much worse coverage and slower speed.
Yeah.
Well, forget
Its
about
coverage is
that.
garbage. Its coverage is garbage. Like, why do we like hashtag no won't work?
Okay, fair enough. Forget
It's
that.
not just a slower Silvally that can hold an Eviolite. It's worse.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think this will be a scary team to face. Like, there's a lot of offense, a lot of setup.
It's definitely still a quality team, but it has a few holes.
Yeah, it's a good team though. I mean, Mega Scizor with Victini and Milotic is very good. But You know, it's just another thing. It's just lacking a little bit. And like those tier 5s are horrible.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to Medi and the South Holland Pyroers. Kiram Black.
Yeah.
Alolan Persian into Kiram Black is going to scare some people this season.
I actually quite like this team.
I do too. It's just another thing. It's like all the other teams are just so good as well that we have to put something like at the bottom.
It's a strong team. Like,
yeah, I think that Roche W.
Run Wash is such
KB,
a key
like,
on this team.
Awesome.
It's a great result. It's also like Entei as well.
Like, the only thing it's going to be struggling with is grass types. Bolts on them straight into Kiram Black. Like, that's a nightmare.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Fairy Dragon Steel core is great. I think the Firewater Grass core, again, is pretty good. I guess the speed tiers could have been improved on. I think you've got Persian in 115, which in itself isn't terrible. Again, I don't mind the team. I think it works.
Neither do I. I think it works as well. Like, it's again, this is not a bad team. It's just, you know, you are lacking a little bit. You have a pretty decent rocks weakness. He has good removal.
Yep.
But like, he needs to rely on the removal a lot. Like in the early game, like he can't. Like he always has to make the safe defog play, because if he doesn't, then
it'll just
the rest,
start
the
layering
rest of the
up.
game's gonna be a shit show.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I'll mention is this really feels more like a bulky offense squad than like a balanced squad. And I know I'm a fan of balance, and I really feel Meti does better with more reliable defensive mons. And so maybe that's something they'll struggle with come the season, but
Yeah, there aren't a ton of like. Yeah, all of his mons are bulky, but none of them are like defensive, other than maybe like Persian on the physical side.
Nido Queen, you could argue as well.
Yeah, not really. It has too many weaknesses.
That's true. That's
in my
fair.
opinion.
Yeah.
Too many like common weaknesses.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next team here. It's going to be the Amherst Selgors, coached by Prof. I have this.
Not so relaxed.
I have this at 8. I think Frozen has this at 9. I think Swiss has this at 14.
I just really don't like it. I'm sorry. I understand the Volturn with the Intimidate core. I've already said I don't like Mega Main and League. I think it's very predictable. I mean, I think once I've seen it being brought with Magnet Rise and it worked, and then like outside of that, it's just the same thing every time. I think a lot of the mons are just underwhelming. I don't rate Mimikyu. Swampert as the bulky water. Amoonguss, yeah, it's a pivot, but it doesn't do an awful lot. I don't know. I don't think it's terrible, even though I've put it in last. I just feel it's very underwhelming.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Swampert either, as like your sole bulky water. He's got like Keldeo, but it's not bulky really. It's only wish support for like a lot of, like, considering the fact that a lot of his monsters don't have reliable recovery, like as a bulky Pokemon such as Druddigon, Swampert, Bronzong. The fact that your only wish passer is a tier 5, like, isn't great.
Yeah, Licky's kind of trash to me, honestly.
It only passes wish, and then like maybe clicks Dragon Tail. That's about it.
I'd also mention the defoggers. You've got Lando T and Skuntank. I mean, at least there's 2. But Lando typically you're using offensively to get the most out of it.
Yeah.
And Skuntank being your T4, it does absorb T-spikes at least, but I don't know.
I mean, Amoonguss does the same
It's just
thing,
not-
absorbing T-spikes.
It's just not a team for me. I think that's the problem. I don't doubt Prof's ability, but it just really didn't fit with my playstyle, and I guess that's why I ranked it so low.
Yeah, Prof has a very unique playstyle, so I think he can make this team work more than anyone else could. Because I remember in the PBL, I think it was season 4, yeah, like objectively his team was terrible, but he went like 12-2 with it. So, you know, I have no doubts that Prof will be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll prove me wrong.
All right. So moving on to the next team here. I'm trying to figure out when I should move the slide, but because like we keep having this weird jump around. So moving up next is the Copenhagen Cavalions, coached by Lolly. I don't actually know how to pronounce it. I'm just gonna go with Lol.
Why did you say Lolly?
I think I do both. I'm not even sure.
This team's got like a strong 8 Pokemon, and then there's like 3 things that are kind of trash.
Including a literal trash bag.
Including the literal piece of trash.
Yeah.
There's like Garbodor, Frogadier, and Armaldo just will probably not see the field.
Yeah.
I think that's the main problem with this team, is that by having mons you're going to use very, very rarely, it limits like the team's versatility in terms of what's going to be brought. The actual team, I really, really like the Volta.
Yes,
amazing.
the Volta
think,
with Bulu is
8
fantastic.
pressuring those the grass types, and I think the Fire Water Grass works with Bulu supporting Empoleon. Plenty of hazard setters, and they're all versatile.
He does have
I
a
think-
spinner and Artrashio.
True. I think this will very much be suited to his playstyle. Just using slightly different mons and using them to great effect. I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it definitely works.
Got the Frogadier. You don't need that shit.
It's the trash mon.
It's always difficult to get value from T5.
It really is.
Yeah.
There's
You
only
really
a few
need
things.
to know like what's good in tier 5.
The thing that I really don't like about this team is really pressuring Empoleon to defog on this team. It's kind of it's one of like it's one of his only it's probably his only good form removal. Outside he has defog on Arrow and I guess Rapid Spin from Artrashio, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's understandable, but
Another
it could
issue
worse.
that Swiss always brings up, another issue is that like, you know, you have the Empoleon effect. He does have another water if you count Frogadier. So don't. But like outside of Empoleon, his only fairy resist is Garbodor. That could be a problem.
yep.
Huge problem, especially when you have a Kyurem, which like basically invites fairies in.
Yeah, because it just doesn't beat fairies very well.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think the team looks really well though.
Mhm.
It looks really good. It's got good color scheme. You know.
All the important things.
All the things. If you have a good
You
color
don't need to
scheme,
act it
you have a
right.
good team. So.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to move this slide at this point. The next team we'll be talking about is the B-Town Breloons, coached by their coach, B-Town.
The source of the drama. All sorts of drama during drafting.
That man got sniped so many times.
I do.
It's a really. Sorry, you can start.
No, you go.
Okay. Like, it's a really annoying team, especially when you have like such a good Wish Passer in Sylveon, such a good Steel type in Selly,
Yep.
the best grass type probably.
And Mega Venusaur, which pairs so well with Celesteela.
Yeah, he's got good hazards, decent hazards. I mean, Gligar. You got good removal though, like so that you don't have to be constantly pivoting around.
Yep.
It's a really solid team. It fails to close. That's really the biggest issue.
Yeah, Crustle's kind of garbage, I think. I feel like the team struggles to deal with steals outside of like maybe like some form of like offensive Gligar. Embor will end up wearing down itself eventually through rocks plus like Rocky Helmet plus like recoil damage.
Just crit wild charge. All those water types.
That's all you gotta do.
I think it also lacks a bit of versatility, to be honest. I don't think, obviously you've got like defensive Celesteela and offensive Celesteela. Aside from that, there's not a lot that jumps out to me that feels like, oh, I can do something unexpected with this mod.
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
lot
that's the
of
problem in League.
standard stuff. Like
The only like really versatility options are like DD Latios if you want to try that, or like physical Venusaur.
he has maybe argue so down like specs like Curse, like Calm Mind, like. But more often than
Yeah,
not,
the Curse Quick Attack set.
yeah, more often than not, you're just like defensive as Wish,
Yeah, like Hyper Voice Wish Protect,
Mhm.
and then
like toxic heal bell, or HP fire in some circumstances. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he's putting a lot of pressure on Gligar in this team.
Oh
The
yeah.
fact that I don't really rate Crustle as a stealth rocker, I doubt you guys do. It means he's only real rocker. One of 2 defoggers, and Latty's offensive typically. So don't really want to be running defog in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously it's always going to be his electric immunity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just open to abuse, I feel, this team, even though it's so good defensively. I think it's just going to be asked to be broken.
Yeah, it's a little easy to play around, I think, because you do have to like
the team invites
constantly
in
think around.
pretty heavy breakers, and it doesn't have necessarily like puts a lot of pressure on like Lottie as a Scarfer and Raikou.
Yeah, you
Just
only
speaking
really
of
like
options.
electric switching, other than Venu, is Gligar, and like it does have a 4 times weakness, so.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Raikou and
mean,
Lottie
it's
check, but like they give up momentum.
Yeah. So does Venu.
Yeah, I think that will be the key thing for this team, is a lack of momentum.
Yeah. The only way he can really get momentum back is like with Raikou, or if he's like U-turn Gligar.
Mm-hmm.
More
I mean,
reliance on
Battle
Gligar.
Pass Sylveon as well, but it's just not natural, I feel.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a little awkward, and
Yeah, you don't really want to like waste a slot on Sylveon for Baton Pass.
Mhm.
Anyways,
next team up on the list would be Dreamer and the APC Absols. I have
scary
good.
stuff.
this is
Really
just
good
some
pops.
strong team, I think.
yeah.
Like Jirachi,
Also, like-
Togekiss, Hydreigon, B2.
Yeah.
It's just
He's
a
got,
strong
like,
balance
also,
score.
I can attest that Dreamer is the best Mega Heracross user on the planet. So like really watch out for that, especially since he does have web support in
Oh.
Smeargle.
Oh jeez.
Just be careful.
Yeah, I think webs with this team, with all the breakers and just scary threats, is going to be interesting. I really love Togekiss on this
Mhm.
team. I think it does a lot. It's going to play an important part in virtually every match.
I like Gengar with like P2 and Togekiss
Yeah,
as well. Just,
definitely.
like to come in like status and do that.
Those fighting types, yeah.
Mhm.
He's got really nice momentum for Heracross as well.
Yep.
Like
There's
Jirachi and Hydra and Darmanitan
Mhm.
and like what's it called, Lantern. Those
Yep.
are all great momentum users. So
And even Lando gets you to.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
there's plenty of it.
decent rocking options in Jirachi, one of the best rockers in the format. Sando's a decent rocker. There's a Blossom at the end of the bench, which is
we'll just ignore that. Ignore that.
I mean, the fact that he could have got a T4, I'm sure he'll trade it away.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
He just didn't
it would
realize
be-
he
I
could
would
have
have,
gotten a tier 4.
yeah, I would have liked to see what the team looked like complete,
hmm
because that was the only really standout weakness for this team.
The biggest
Blossom.
that is definitely the standout is like the Blossom. He doesn't. He has like hazard options are like Smeargle, but Smeargle's also like his only spinner. So
I mean, he did need a meme on. I think season 2 he drafted Delibird.
yes.
So he does need the memes. Anyways,
All right. Moving on to the next pick. Next pick would be the Akron Alakazams. Coached by Adam. I think Swiss put this a lot lower. I have this at 6. Adam has it at 5. Frozen has it at 5, and Frozen, I'm gonna go back here, has it and Swiss has it at 10.
Yeah, I knew this one was going to come back to me again. I think it's solid. I do think it's solid. I think there's a lot of these teams that I kind of like and I think are usable, but I just wouldn't rate them as highly as other teams. In that, he does really well to pressure these grass types for Zydog.
Mhm.
I think Zydog's going to be amazing for him this season. You've got Blastoise, Tango, Rotom, Volcanion, and then Staraptor.
Mhm.
Like, I can see that doing a lot of work, but then again, it is a Zydog at the end of the day. It's not like you're supporting your T1 on, which I'll come back to again. He's got removers and in terms of defog and spin for Mew, so he's
Mhm.
trying to free up Mew a lot, and I do appreciate that. Doesn't have a dark type for it, but maybe that's a Silvally Dark with Pursuit or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's the speed tiers for something else. I want a big fan on.
Yeah, doesn't have anything to go for
He
110.
has it.
I guess he has Zydog.
I think it could have been better.
What I really like about this team though is just the type synergy is, in my opinion, like off the charts. He's got
Everything fits
responses
so
to
well
every
together.
single weakness like that he could ever have.
Double ground with Zydog is nice.
Yeah, and you've also like you got a big dark weakness with Mew, and like you got arguably the best dark switch in the game in Cobalion.
Mm-hmm. And Deancey comes in on darks pretty handily as well.
Yeah, that too.
Blastoise is a nice spinner on this team.
Definitely.
It's a second water that like helps free up like Volcanion to be like more of a fire type as well.
I think that was another weakness for me personally. I really, again, would advise not having Volcanion on this team. I think when you're looking at a breaker, you've already got a special breaker in Blastoise.
Mm-hmm.
I know you might want to be running it defensively, but I still feel it's doing the same kind of job. I think they overlap too much. You've already got a fire type in Rotom. I know it's not like your fairy resist or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do an awful lot, but I think if you wanted a breaker in that position, there's Crawdor, Primarina, even Volcarona as a more offensive fire type. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Volcanion, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't really like it as a Pokemon either.
Alright, so
Solid team though.
I like Adam's team.
Yeah, I think it works. And
Yeah.
it will be tough getting around.
Alright,
Like-
yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
I
it's
think
cool.
one more important thing is that there aren't any shit mons on this team.
Yes.
It's all good
Like
mons.
all of the mons, like other than arguably Volcanion, because as you said, it kind of overlaps. Like they all serve a purpose, so that's really nice.
And that's going to be a running theme for teams towards the top.
Mhm.
In that, I think they make a lot better use of every single one on their team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so next up will be the Honolulu All Stars coached by Link. Zard by T-Tar is double weather. Super fun. Honestly.
Yeah. And you've got Venu in case he does want to put more of an emphasis on like Sun
Mhm.
in a couple weeks, but like you have Cryogonal, which is decent on this team.
Yep.
It's pretty shit mon in general, but I think it kind of works with Sand.
Yeah.
But it's a good team. You've got Sand, you've got a lot of good bulk, you've got removal options, you've got like to help out Zard,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, solid team overall.
Definitely. It'd be nice to have like a spike option on this team, I think. Just to
Yeah.
like so Zard can pressure switches more like
And Sand, yeah.
and Start and T-Tar can drill and stand like they appreciate hazards up just to get his hazards drill means such a solid spinner.
Yeah, I think this team could have been a bit more. I know Link got sniped several times, particularly on these water types. I think he wanted Slowbro at one point, as a really good pivot. Would have worked fantastically, in my opinion.
I don't know why you didn't get that.
He got sniped, it was literally, Yeah. And the same turn that he wanted Jellicent, I believe that got sniped. So
Yeah,
it was
Basically-
difficult.
essentially.
Mhm.
I think he made the most of the situation though. Obviously,
Yeah.
got TR shooting for Reuniclus. I think Reuniclus is a massive threat in this type of team.
Yeah. It's a
Just
great fighting
really
resist to
great.
have with T-Tar as well. T-Tar and drill. It's something that just comes in and just
Probably worst point of this team is the limited speed tiers outside of weather. Like once that sun's run out, once that sand's run out, and you've got an opposing threat, it's quite hard to revenge it. You're gonna have to sack off your weather review, your weather setter or something like that to counter.
I do like how he has like decent momentum though
Yeah,
a
for
team of
weather.
and he's also got priority, like which is really nice.
hit
with-
one least solid priority.
Yeah, Mach Punch is pretty nice.
Mhm.
What do you guys
It-
make
it-
of Rotom and Venu? Because
They're very different grass
great.
types.
Yeah, I think
Whether they
I
should
think
both
Rotom-
be on the same team or not is another question.
I think Rotom's more so just to be his
Initiative with like
default
sand.
switch.
I think they fit like they fit differently. Like if like Link wants to lean more towards sun, like Vini fits better. And like,
Yeah.
if he fits more towards sand, like
Vino's
Rotom
really
would fit
nice
better.
in case like he needs to bring, Sun 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Being able to have that speed control outside of sand with kind of these mass speed tiers is really fortunate for him, I think.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
He has 3 spinners, which is pretty fun.
He has 3 spinners, Hitmon and
I mean,
Cryo.
you've got
Jeez.
Zardwire, haven't you?
Yeah, you need all the move you can get with Zardway.
Obviously,
It's just funny.
Rotom's pretty reliable, which is nice.
Florges, yeah.
Yep. Moving on to the next pick. Next pick here would be the Keystone Cartanas, coached by M Dragon. I literally don't want to play this team ever. Honestly,
Do I? Fuck Stall.
fuck Suicune. But like,
Yes, Suicune is the worst mod to face, in my opinion.
I literally hate it. I've never beat a Suicune team.
I never struggle against Suicune. For me, it's always Mega Aggron that gets me. Like, I hate going against that thing.
I think he supports Suicune brilliantly, this
Yep.
team. I think there's a lot of pressure on grass types, and as well the way he handles electric types between the 2 ground types.
Mm-hmm. Chompo and Piloswine.
And Piloswine. He thought this team through really, really well, and it's really good execution. He's got 11 very usable mons. It looks like a nightmare to play, and it's definitely a top team. My
Heracross is
biggest-
just scary to me. Like the fact that he can just come in like Jumbo's biggest jacks are like grass types, and Heracross blows us out of the water. It's just terrifying.
and it gives him like a proper breaker and
Mhm.
another scarf option. I think Heracross is quite underrated in that respect.
Yeah, I love regular Heracross. Scarf Moxie is really nice.
That's
Also,
deep
you have
guts. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like punishes teams for like status because ways people get beats weekend or like status. You have a Heracross
Yeah,
that comes
like-
in and doesn't
Yeah,
care.
try to like toxic it before it can rest and like
Yeah.
taunt it. Yeah, it's pretty punishing for that.
I feel there could have been more removal. There's only Crobat for defog.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on Crobat
Which-
Fog.
It does get torn, so it can handle hazards a bit. But when
Mhm.
it's a rock type or a steel type, something like that, it's makes life difficult for this team in hazards.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, Crobat is phenomenal defog, but yeah, I get what you mean. It's a over reliance on Crobat.
That's kind of like that's probably like the only knock. Maybe like the fact that I think what's the Gurgai is kind of a trash Pokemon, but
Yeah,
I think it's alright. I don't think it's. I think if you're a tier 5 one, you want to get Ghost type, which
just
are
to
hard
spin
to come by,
spin
and
blocker, I
as a
guess.
spin blocker, and then you've got, and obviously a fighting community, not that you really need them. Clef
Clef
and
and Crobat.
but
Yeah, it also
just
gives you
leech
leech
seed, just pass it around, resist,
Mm-hmm.
just handy.
Yeah.
Trick or treat if you really are about that life, and then pursuit trap it with Drapion.
Mm-hmm.
That's like big brain.
Big brain tech. Anything
Um,
else?
No, I'm pretty good. It's a solid semi-stall team.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. He'll do very
Absolutely
well.
terrifying. Next is gonna be our third spot. I'm gonna move this up because all of our number 4 teams are in the top 3 as well. So I'm just gonna move up to the top 3 here. And our third pick is going to be me, I guess. So I don't know what to say about my own team. So if you guys want to talk about it,
I think it's great. I really like it.
Yeah, I
I'd say
love
it's-
this team.
A similar thing to M Dragon's team is that you've just got defogging pressure on Torn. I know you did pick up the Spinner and Claydol, but
Claydo's kind
gonna,
of trash.
just- Yeah. But at least in this case, it has Regenerate, which makes it a bit
Mhm.
better
Mm.
defogger. But instead you've got Arcanine as a stealth weakness, whereas M Dragon didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only real weakness I identified though. The Team Mega Clay combo is great. There's so much pressure on grass types, which is going to help out. As you a lot, and the physical attackers breaking each other. I think that's going to help like a Scar, something like that.
Mhm.
Cleaner.
Yeah, I really like the like you just have like pretty much all the check boxes like checked off. Like you've got speed check, removal check, good hazards. You have all forms of hazards. You have a spinner if you need it. I think Cladle's a pretty decent mon, especially in tier 5. You've got type synergy is tremendous. Like Arcanine's a fantastic ice resistance, and so is Azumarill.
Mhm.
You made sure that you had another bulky water. You have a good steel type.
I think the Blade's
So,
super nice on this team, just to check fairies and beat them at the same time.
Yeah,
And Dragon as well.
Mhm.
D-dancing, gyro ball.
yeah, it's so
That's a
nice for
sharp
that.
season.
Oh my god, don't win that battle, okay? So,
And I also really like Miltank. This team gave you that other rocker,
Yeah,
cleric with Heal Bell.
I'm
Just
pretty
a
soft,
good
but
utility mon.
I like the fighting resist I have on this team as well to support it.
Yeah.
And thick fat is kind of nice on like the ice resist.
yeah. Just like overall, like really a satisfying team.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, so moving on to our number 2 pick, which would be the Liverpool Littons, coached by Granto. The other half of the John Wheel.
Yeah, I mean, when you give someone number 1 pick, like,
Coco.
odds are they're going to draft a good team.
Yeah. Coco Zard is utterly terrifying, especially with, like Greninja as well. The second water with Seismitoad is fantastic. Coco Ride for speed control options, while also maintaining good speed tiers.
Yeah, Coco Lax is really nice too.
Mhm.
Like, it's going to be really frustrating to deal with.
Yeah.
Because, like, Lax's biggest weaknesses are, like, knockoff and fighting spam, and Coco covers those things pretty well.
Mando's being a dark type that's not weak to fighting, I really like as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's super scary mon. I executed very well. Got 11 useful mons. I'd actually say Snorlax is the mon I don't like on this team. It can't rest in electric terrain. I feel like it's just a bit meant killer. This team, in my opinion.
I can see that.
He doesn't have
Yeah,
a
it is.
fighting type, which I know he got sniped on a bit. Personally, I'd look at something like a Bloodswarm maybe. Even you can dip into tier 4 where I think a good value on him aware was taken up.
Buzzle
then
could be kind of nice as like a
T1
ground
instead.
resist, honestly. This team can kind of use the ground resist.
Yeah, I mean, that was just my feeling, is that when you've got this great momentum, I'm just
Like
not sure.
Coco Rise Zard. He has like 5 ground weaknesses on this team. Like Coco Rai, Zard, Steelix, Nihilego.
Yeah, I think that is one thing to say is that his team, like, somewhat struggles with ground types outside of, like, Gran and maybe Delmise. Because Nihilego can't really touch them that well. Neither can Steelix. Coco obviously doesn't really want to deal with them. But I think more than anything, this team is just super scary.
It really is. If you give up too much to this team, it's just it'll steamroll really fast.
Yeah.
Just on top of that point about ground types, I think the ground type can bring Earthquake and Toxic every single game. And no matter what, if it's clicking Earthquake and Toxic, it's not losing out. Because I think that's just a common combination. I feel especially for this team, it's a bit of a struggle.
Anything else?
Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Final team of the draft. Final team of the draft power rankings here. Number 1 overall by like average. And number 1 and 2 of our drafts, as you've been able to see for like the last few minutes. Frozen.
I put myself at number 1, Sumi.
Yeah. It's such a solid draft. It's not great fighting resist on Lopunny. I really like Skarm with Lopunny as a spiker as a flying resist. Latias covers it well as a dragon as well.
Yeah, you guys take the lead on this because I don't want to like.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a fair point. The hazards, with Buck as well supporting.
Mhm.
I like it. That's
Yeah,
really nice.
especially with
I
Bro
think
as a secondary
Dark
psychic.
Trigger does so much work. It supports Scar on first fires and steals and
Steals for Lottie.
and then steals for Latte, rocks for Moltres,
Mm-hmm.
and then anything choice scarf.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is a key one.
Doctrio's so nice on this team. He's got a good like Rapier is a solid rocker as well. For this team, as a team, kind of like these rocks are kind of centralized in those like Skarmory, Doug Trio, and Rapier pieces. Which
And it's
is
obviously good. Hazard, Latte, and Scar.
Mhm.
Won't really mention. Oh, and even Whimsicott actually. Won't mention Moltres, but
yeah.
yeah.
The removal on this team is solid as well.
Same like biggest criticisms for this team is that you have this brilliant core of your main ones, but I don't really see many matchups where you'd be like, oh yeah, let's take my tier 5 here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any matches where you bring Samurott.
I just kind of drafted it because I needed another ice resistance, and I like saw its move pool and like basically.
It can use like SDZ move
Fangirl.
sets. Like it's not.
Its move pool's so nice, like
It really is.
surprisingly.
It's like SD taunt is an option for it.
You got SD taunt, and it's also got like 108 attack with air slash.
It's weird.
But yeah, I think that was my only feeling, that maybe could make it a bit predictable.
Mhm.
That, like, you know how good the squad can be, and so just know what's that going to come.
Yeah.
I'd say the last thing to criticise is a bit of a lack of breaking power to support though. I know
Mhm.
you did Rhyperior
Moltres is a decent breaker,
a little
but
bit.
Moltres and Lope I think support each other really well.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just, I think it was just a different type of draft, and I think we've executed it well. It's just like a where it could have been improved type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
a very annoying team to face.
Definitely. Dark Trio
yeah,
just
so
poses a
Swift
lot of
had
problems to
me,
teams.
like number 4.
I think it was 4th, yeah.
Okay.
And again, on that Dark Trio, like, even if Monzo were, what's it, Shedskin? Shedshell?
Shedshell, yeah.
Like,
He's gonna
that
force a
just
lot of
means
items.
Your steel type doesn't have lefties recovery.
Yep.
It's just great for Latte. Like,
If it's Shuka, it's
tracking
the
is very underrated,
Mhm.
and I think Dark Trio would do a lot of work.
and this team just takes full advantage of Dark Trio, honestly.
I obviously like it, because I drafted it. And also Mega Lopunny is the best Mega in the game, so.
Yeah.
Also, Raichu is better than Jolteon. Don't matter.
It does get nasty a lot, doesn't it?
He does get nasty, but it gets like
does.
actual coverage moves. It
Gets
has,
Surf.
he has
And it gets
priority.
Grass Knot.
Has priority options on like E-speed to pick off like Sag users. Like,
You also have Nuzzle.
yep.
It's better than Raichu. Or
Better than,
Jolteon, rather.
Raichu is better than Raichu, guys. You heard it here first.
I mean, I do think regular Raichu is better than Alolan Raichu, but that's for another time.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it from us here today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's
Thanks
good
for
fun.
thanks for good for having you guys around. Always good to not hear myself talk to myself. Yeah. So that'll be it for the end of it. So we'll catch you all guys later. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave comments in the section below. I don't know. I'm just saying words. Have a good rest of your day. Whatever. Bye.